Hi there, Stasha Washburn here, the Period Coach, and I am here today to give you huh, six ideas for your red tent. So whether you're a member of a red tent or if you're creating your own red tent or you'd like to be part of my virtual red tent, I've got some ideas for things that you can do. I have been to a few red tents in my day, and I have hosted a few red tents in my day, and there are a lot of things that I love, and there's some things that I don't like, but that's just me. So I'm going to give you six things that you can do. So one can be centering your red tent around the idea of ceremony. A lot of women like to do tea ceremony. A lot of women like to do menstrual ceremony, where everyone will bring like some stones or crystals, have altars, wear red, do a dance beforehand, have a structure, like a ceremony structure. Greta, who hosts a red tent in Los Angeles that I love, has a huge red piece of cloth, and she starts her red tent. Everyone grabs onto this red cloth, and it is the red blood of women connecting us throughout generations and womb to womb. So I love that beautiful part of her ceremony. Probably something that anytime I host a live red tent, I will borrow because I think it's just so beautiful. So ceremony, things that you like to do in your red tent, and talk to the women in your red tent and see if there's anything they would like to add to it. Make it a community. You are a red tent, you are a community. So whether you're leading it or if you're a part of one, have a chat and see what you'd like to do for your ceremony. I love tea, so I'm a huge fan of doing tea ceremony for red tent. Whenever I host even a virtual red tent, I really encourage women to bring a cup of something beautiful, something that they really like, a loose leaf herb tea, or have a beautiful red teacup or a special cup, maybe something that was made by a friend. My sister-in-law has made me a teacup, and when I'm home, that's the teacup that I use. I'm at my parents' house, and I have a red teacup now, because they have fiesta ware and they have lots of bread. So there's some ideas. So number one, ceremony. Number two, a potluck. Potlucks are so much fun, and it's so good to get together and eat with other women. So I love the element of potluck in the red tent. Some women have you bring red fruits. I love that, but fruit is just one of so many different ideas out there. So I really like the idea of a potluck. Everyone brings something. Of course, make sure what's going on with all of the women in your red tent. If you have dietary restrictions, just get creative. Don't bring hummus and veggies every single time. Maybe have some fun and get a little creative trying a recipe and bring something fun. That's another thing that I like about the potluck red tents, is that you get to be a little bit creative, put your kitchen witch hat on, and go enjoy yourself in the kitchen. Creativity. So number three. Bring lots of different things. Everyone bring all of the kids' colored pencils and crayons and markers. Hell, bring the kids too. Bring all of the paper and the stuff, or have a red tent where maybe your guest is somebody who teaches you how to throw pottery. Maybe your red tent is somebody who teaches you how to paint. Maybe you have artists in your red tent that would like to, do part of your ceremony is to create something every month. So there's lots of different things you can do with creation. I really like the idea of creation in your red tent. I did a red tent one time where we did a drawing of something that our womb space was speaking to us in creation, and actually mine felt very tied into money. So it turned out that I drew this thing that I used as actually my money tracking cover sheet. So whenever I look at it, it really puts me in a very positive space. So every day when I sit down to track my money, I actually am also really bringing forth this beautiful image and I'm reminded of that red tent and the beauty that was in it. So it's very beautiful way to start the day. Do my charting, my menstrual charting, and then I do my money charting. It's part of running a business. We do that in YBYF as well. So if you're one of your business, your flow ladies, we'll learn how to do this. Okay. Number four, political. I'm sorry, but red tents these days are part of helping bring the feminine back to the world, and politics is a big part of that. If you're in the States, you know what it feels like to have a lot of your rights taken away from you by a bunch of old, rich white men. Maybe you are a person of color. politics is a big thing, and bringing it into the red tent is not always a bad thing. Having that conversation, being able to move things forward politically, maybe even doing in your red tent a postcard and saying, I'll supply stamps, everyone bring a postcard, or we'll make postcards. Maybe that can be part of your creation, and we'll send them and address them to senators. And, if you're the organizer, you'll send them out for everybody. How amazing would that be to know that you're making an impact, sending them out to your Congress people, your local people need to hear from you more so than even your Congress people and the president. He doesn't read anything, but maybe your Congress people do. So, or your local people do. So, doing something like that, which kind of brings me into the next one, which is education. Having an education component to your red tent is always amazing. Being able to learn something in each red tent. So having a guest speaker, or learning about maybe a policy that's being put through in your local government or in your national government. Educating yourselves and each other is a huge deal. It's what the suffragettes fought for around this globe. They weren't just in the States or just in England. There were suffragettes in lots of places. Women have been fighting and dying for our rights to an education, to be in school, to be treated as equals, to be able to go to college. And those fights are still being fought in some countries. So education, I think, is a beautiful thing to bring into your red tent. And conflict may follow for politics and for education. Have that conversation. Your red tent is a safe space. Make sure that if anybody wants to bring their opinion and state it as fact, that they can source their facts. That's part of education, is being able to source your opinion. You can have an opinion, and some things are only opinion. But if you're going to talk facts, you need to be able to cite your sources. And I think that's a really important thing to bring to our red tents, is just, let's have a conversation. And if we're going to have a conversation that involves some kind of, but this is fact, then let's talk about that. And then if that's true, let's bring that into our mentality and let's look at it from that. Okay, well, this is true. We have the sources, and let's talk about this as a point of fact. How can we bring this into our own everyday life and our mindset, and maybe open our minds a little bit more, right? Which is something that we all need to do. And I think our sisters, especially our sisters of color, would really appreciate that. Okay. So finally, religion. A lot of women have a deep attachment to a religion, and there's nothing wrong with bringing religion into your red tent. If you'd like to have your red tent be a religion, then you need to say that before anyone joins. I know that if I joined a red tent and it was based in a religious dogma, I would want to know, because I wouldn't be going to that red tent. I'm not a religious person. I do not enjoy religious dogma. I feel that a lot of religions are the reason that women are so oppressed worldwide. And that is a whole other rant for me. But I have seen some beautiful red tents that use their religion as a basis for their red tent, celebrating saints, celebrating women in their religion. And I know that it can be done beautifully. I know that it can be done with an open heart and open minds. So if you want to do that and you feel like a red tent would not fit with your religion, but you want to use that, it can be done. It can be done well. So those are my 6 red tent ideas: ceremony, potluck, creation, political, religious, and education. See what ones resonate for you. See what ones you really like. And I hope to hear your experiences and your ideas. Finally, the Red Circle Summit, wherever that link is, wherever you're watching this video. Take a look at the Red Circle Summit, because there's lots of ideas on red tents. There's women who have red tents that are speakers, and they share about their red tents, and they're in different parts of the globe, so you can get kind of a different idea and learn more about it. So check us out in the Red Circle Summit, and I'll see you on